Welcome to your iconic image. If you want to take control of your image and be a power player in your space, then this is the show for you. Here we will arm you with tools and information to help you grow your brand on purpose. I'm your host, Marlana Semenza, photographer and visual strategist. Now let's dive into today's episode. Ed Dudley is a collaborative connector, servant leader, community builder, social entrepreneur, and public speaker. With over 20 years in financial services, he left the corporate world and founded We Are Connected, with the mission to be a bridge to form strategic alliances, partnerships, and collaboration for all humanity. Welcome, Ed.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. So when we first met a handful of years ago, your feet were firmly in the financial services industry. I remember visiting you at your office, and then you fast forward maybe a year later, and when people thought of you, that was the last thing that came to mind, if it came to mind at all.
At all.
So at what point did you decide that, this is not what I want to do? This is not what I want to be known for?
Yeah. So I spent, so many years in financial services, and I loved it, had a good career, met a lot of good people, but I was so busy chasing the dollar and chasing the title. So I left as a senior vice president of a couple of financial institutions. But when I formed Connect Ed, and shortly after that, I really found my passion. It's just networking with people and sitting down and having conversations and figuring out ways to help serve them. So, I tell everyone I live my life, a very simple phrase: given it shall be given unto you. So my part of giving is let me know how I can serve you or your network.
So then what would you say the business you are in now is?
It's all about uplifting people. And a great friend of mine told me that, said, you are much more than financial services and some of the other things. You're in the business of uplifting people. And I do that every single day. And people are like, well, how do you get paid? I'm like, it's not about the money for me. Money will eventually come. Money comes and money goes. But to see a smile on somebody's face or get a message or an email says, Ed, that was an amazing connection. I'm all about connecting people to other people, opportunities, or resources, or what I call pros. And if I can do that and, just get a smile and say, thank you, I feel great after that.
So then how did you venture down this path?
Oh, wow. So I was part of a networking group, and I always give him credit. Nate Brown of Networking with Nate. I was part of his networking group, and which was fabulous, and he had it running for years. And I said, you know what, I'm going to emulate exactly what you're doing. I'm just going to put it in another place, because what I noticed at his group, it wasn't a lot of diversity. And I said, I want to go somewhere and I want to try to make it a little more diverse. And shortly after I created that, an opportunity opened up, and I completely shifted from the way I was going to do it to the way that you see it now. And that path started with Nate, and I learned some valuable lessons around networking with him. But I always tell everyone my spark that helped me just jumpstart my whole networking and with We Are Connected was a gentleman named David Baum. He was one of the first people I met down here, and I'll never forget. We sat down and had coffee downtown Raleigh, and he said, "Well, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to connect with?" And on Saturday morning, I had about 5-6 inboxes from people like, you need to meet him, you need to meet him. And a light went off in me. I said, I've been doing this all my life, but I haven't been intentional with it. And now I'm intentional when I connect someone together.
Was it a scary thing to make the jump from something that you had done your whole life into this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it was the unknown. It's always the fear of the unknown. We don't know what's around the corner. In the financial services, I, done it forever. I was comfortable, and that's a problem. I got real comfortable in that particular world. I'll never ever leave that world completely because I think it's in my DNA. I've done it for so long. But I'm more passionate about We Are Connected, and we're all about building bridges to help people form strategic alliances. And I don't care if that's in your professional life or your personal life.
So tell us a little bit about how Connected works.
Oh, wow. So, it started off as connecting business owners and entrepreneurs together in a safe space. It was never about a huge number. It was about bringing the quality people together. We would always bring a guest speaker that could add value to the small business and entrepreneurs. But slowly, I want to say about a year after we had been rocketing and rolling, I want to say last year, there was a shift in my mindset. I said, you know what's great to connect small business owners and entrepreneurs, but what I've noticed, because we were in the throes of COVID, people need to be connected to each other. There was a big disconnect when people connecting with each other. So we opened it up for everyone to come together. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom, you could be a truck driver, you can be a doctor, small business owner, entrepreneur. We want you all to come together and connect. So we do it in several cities and across several states. I'm hoping, knock on a little wood, that we'll be on another continent by the end of the year, early next year. But it's just fun. They're all free. It's not about, like I tell you, it's not about money. They're all free for us to come. We're on Zoom. I'm hoping that we can go live again, as our society opens back up for people to get more comfortable going live.
So what have been some of the biggest benefits to you emotionally and things like that from doing this?
I talked about when people would send me an email or give me a call, and I'll never forget, I was having one of those rough days. As an entrepreneur, we have that roller coaster where one day we're feeling great, another day we're feeling down. I was having a down day, and I'll never forget this entrepreneur called me. And she called me, she's like, Ed, I just got to thank you because you introduced me to this resource that I never knew about. This is going to change the way I do business. And I sat there and I was like, what I thought initially was something small was huge to her. And that just gave me so much joy, completely changed my mindset. I went out and hung out the day and I was in a much better mood. But it's things like that, being able to serve other people. I get pure joy being able to serve someone else. It's not something that is cliche, because I know a lot of people talk about servant leadership and serving. I truly get joy out of it. And I never ask for anything in return because I believe the universe will give you what you need when you need it.
So if somebody is thinking that they want to start something new, they really feel passionate about something, how much do you think needs to be in place, and how much of it do you think can be developed as you go?
So, I know some people that are very strategic and everything has to be A, B, C, and D. Me, I just jumped in and figured it out. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm still adding layers to connect that. I'll have a conversation with someone. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let me go figure out how I can incorporate that to my business. If you have an idea or if there's something you want to do, just jump in it. I'm not a big swimmer, but people say the best way to swim is to throw somebody in the pool. Don't throw me in the pool. We're going to have a problem if you throw me in the pool. I'm going to see you afterwards, after I'm sitting there, got water all in my nose, but just jump in and do it. And the best thing is there's so many free resources for everything you want to do. I tell my children right now is when I grew up, we had to go to the library and grab books. You can sit there and pull your phone up and there's anything that you want to do. You can go to YouTube, you can Google it, whatever, and you can create a business. You can create a side hustle. You can create a hobby. Whatever you want to do, it's at your fingertips. So don't worry about trying to plan so much that you just miss the boat. Because I know people that have been planning for years and never done anything.
Which usually speaks to fear.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Did you have fear in doing all this?
Oh, yeah.
How did you get past the fear of doing all this?
Oh, wow. So the acronym for fear that I always try to keep at the top of my head is false evidence appearing real. And a lot of times fear is false evidence. And yet there are times that I get anxious. One of the things is I'm always curious, like how many people are going to show up? Is it only going to be one or is it going to be two? But what I've noticed is we've had some of the best meetings where there are only a handful of people because we were able to dive deep into conversation as opposed to going wide and superficial conversations. So I don't let fear stop me from doing anything anymore. And I try to tell people, don't let it stop you anymore because fear will paralyze a lot of people. And then you'll look a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years have passed, and you've been stuck in the same place because you were scared.
Mm. And just to speak a little bit on what you just said, I know that you have a lot of people in your network. However, that doesn't have to be the case because you don't necessarily have to go wide in relationships. You just have to go deep in the right ones.
It's interesting you say that. So I divide my network into 3 categories that I call my ABCs of networking. So my A's are my advocates. And these are people that are screaming and shouting at the top of their lungs, Ed Dudley. They're rooting for me. They're doing everything to help me succeed. These are the people I love. These are people that are our smallest group. Next are my builders. These are people that we're still feeling each other out. We're trying to figure out how to build a mutually beneficial relationship. This is my biggest group. And then another small group are what I call my consumers. These are individuals, all they want to do is consume your time, your resources, and your energy. And I don't spend a lot of time with those. You'll quickly find out who these people are. They're the users that just want us like, oh, I got to connect with Ed because I know he's going to connect me with someone. And that's all I need from him, as opposed to trying to build a relationship.
Have you had people that you will disconnect with?
Absolutely. I've disconnected with a lot of people simply because they were what I consider users.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do something for me. I'm okay with that. If you never do anything for me, but if I see that you're not trying to do something for someone else, or all you're trying to do is all about self-gain, I probably don't spend a lot of time with you. And I've had a couple of people that I've literally had to disassociate with because they didn't have the right mindset. It was all about me, me, me. What can I get? And I'm not worried about anybody else. Those are selfish people. And I tend not to spend a lot of time with selfish people.
Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned that that first group is a very small group. Are you strategic about the people that you allow into that group as a small group, or talk to me a little bit about that?
So people will actually put themselves in that group. So these are the individuals that I don't have to talk to every day, but I'm at top of mind. Like I'll get an email, Ed, I was thinking about you. I need to connect you with so-and-so and so-and-so. Ed, here's a resource. I need to connect you with this resource, or here's this opportunity. They're constantly keeping Ed at top of mind. So I try to in turn be advocates for certain people as well. Well, there may not ever be an advocate for me. I still might be an advocate for them. And I'm cheering them on because I know they have the right heart.
And how much of it is, let's say if somebody cheers us on all the time, or if we are top of mind to other people, do you believe that often will make it reciprocal because now they are on the top of mind to us?
Yeah. It always happens that way, I talked about David Baum to this day, and we met, like I said, when I first moved to the Triangle area. So it's going on almost 4 years, and we don't talk all the time, but I'm constantly getting emails. Ed, I met so and so. You need to meet. That's what, and I do the exact same thing. You need me to meet David, and I'll never forget David. David called me. I think it was the day before Christmas, and he's like, Ed, I just want to check in with you as the year ends. I'm switching positions and I want to reach out to you and let you know that I'm switching positions. I'm no longer where I used to be. I'm going here and this is why. But I wanted you to know first. Thank you, Dave. And now in turn, I know what he's doing. Dave, you need to meet so-and-so who's going to help you in your new position. Mm-hmm. You need to meet this person because he's going to help you in your new position. He's going to help you get the word out. Yeah.
So let's go back to when you were in financial services.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something that you felt was missing? Did you have, or did this kind of come about by default?
Financial services, it's all about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the bottom line and revenue. And I gotten tired of just about revenue and about the numbers. What about people? What about serving people? Not just from a monetary standpoint, but in life as a whole. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do it 100% in financial services because you're trying to hit those numbers, whatever those numbers may be. I'm not a numbers guy anymore. It's over here, but I'm all about how can I help somebody today? I wake up in the morning, when I do my morning ritual, I'm like, all right, who can I serve today? I'm on a mission this year to serve 1,000 people. Mm. People say, what does that look like, Ed? It might be just an introduction. It might be buying somebody a cup of coffee. It might be giving a homeless person a meal. It might be giving somebody some shoes that I don't wear or clothing. But that's my mission for this year. I want to knock on some wood. I got some running to do to catch up with that number, but that's my goal for this year.
So do you believe that if that there is something inside of us, if there is, there's a disconnect between what we're currently doing and what we feel that we really want to be known for, that there will be a disconnect somehow.
Yeah. So, because at the end of the day, what we all have to put a roof over our head and food in our stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times what we do what we can get paid well for, as opposed to what we're passionate about. And that's where the struggle happens. And what happens is you get a lot of people that are not happy. They just go to work and make real good money. Like there was a time I worked for an institution, and it was the shortest stint that I ever spent. I was unhappy, made very good money, very good money, to the point like my wife did not have to work, but I was unhappy. So going in every day was a chore, like, oh God, I gotta go in here. You look forward to the weekends, but if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you don't look forward to the weekend. It's just like you're just doing it. If it's on a Saturday, you're doing it. If it's on a Sunday, you're doing it. On vacation, you're not concerned that because I'm working on vacation, because you're passionate about it. There was times where I'm like, on vacation, I'm not working. Don't call me, don't text me. You're not going to hear from me. But now if I go on vacation and it's, like Marlana reaches out to me and I'm on vacation. Hey, Marlana, what's going on? What you need?
Yeah. So how has all of this changed for you in the last year? Because I know you were doing a lot of things in person, all that. How did you make the shift to not?
It was difficult for me at first. So I said we had other chapters. My New Orleans chapter went virtual first. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'd rather meet with people face to face. I'm like, COVID's going to end and then we can get back. And then fast forward, COVID just kept on going and we went virtual. I still struggle with the virtual. If you think about we're in a virtual world like all day long and looking at cameras and talking to people, I struggle with it. So I'm looking forward to the day that we can actually sit and I can actually hug somebody again and say, hey, good to see you, shake a hand, high five and things like that. So it was difficult at first. You get used to it, you run with it. I think we'll be in a blended state ongoing where we'll be half virtual and half live, basically for eternity, or as long as Connected's around.
So tell us right now, where is Connected? Where are the locations?
So we have Durham, we have Raleigh, Charlotte is going to be rebooted. We have New Orleans, Dallas, Texas, Bethesda, Maryland. I'm working on Arizona, and I'm working on Africa and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Africa and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you got to figure Africa and Pittsburgh. Yeah.
And so are all of these people then also connected in a larger umbrella?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's people that I either know personally or I've met and somewhat vetted them and talked to them, and they lead with a servant's heart. All of mostly everyone that is a host in these different cities are small business owners in themselves. That's something that they're doing, but they have to lead with a servant's heart. It's not about me. What can I get out of bringing people together? It's all about how can I serve my community. So they're all fall up under the umbrella of Connect Ed.
Nice.
It's been fun. I met some amazing people through it.
So I know you have a new thing, DEI done differently. Talk to us. What's that now?
So, I'm all about collaborating. So I partnered with an organization called Love is a Parable. And Love is a Parable is a nonprofit that focuses on love, kindness, and random acts of kindness. So we partnered with them to bring us something called DEI done differently. A lot of times you have people coming in and talking about DEIs like, well, this is what the white population has done. You've done this, you've done this, and done this. But we're like, no, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it from a lens of where we are today. What can we do more effectively, bringing people together? And it's all about collaborating, using We Are Connected, because at the end of the day, I don't care what color you are. We all still bleed the same way. We all still breathe the same way, because we truly are connected to the human race.
So ultimately, what would you like to see happen with Connected? What do you want to be known for? What do you want that to be known for?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Bringing people together. Simple as that. If someone can say, oh, you know about Connected. Yeah, they do a great job of just bringing people together. No real agenda other than just bringing like-minded people together to socialize, maybe form strategic alliances. One of our events, I look at these two women that came, and they're great friends simply because of Connect Ed.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never do business together, but every time I turn around, they're hanging out, taking pictures, and I'm sitting here like they first met at Connect Ed.
And knowing what I know about you, and you say bringing people together. However, it's not just, I know to you, putting people in a room.
Mm-hmm.
It's having them develop relationships. It's having them build bridges with each other. So I know that about you. So it's funny to me when you say, oh, just bringing people together, because it really goes so much deeper for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Our tagline is building meaningful and lasting relationships one person at a time. That's our tagline, and we believe it. And when we were live and I connect someone, I'm like, Marlana, you need to meet Joe. This is why you need to meet Joe, because Joe does this, not professionally, but personally. And when you start putting people together like that, a matchmaker per se, they will build meaningful, lasting relationships.
And I think it also needs to just be said that sometimes the connections that other people see may not be the connections that we see for ourselves. But, as you get to know people, some of the people that I have the deepest connections with, we may never do business together, but
Mhm.
I will introduce them to anybody. I will help them no matter, what opportunity I get. So there's so much to be said for that.
Yeah, you do a great job at that as well.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
out of the blue, I'll get a connection from Marlana, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, this person was absolutely amazing. Probably never do any business together, but the person's absolutely amazing. So yeah.
And you never know with those people, as you expand your boundaries and you expand the people that you know and the
Mhm.
relationships you develop, you just never know where those can go at some point.
Yeah, because you never know who knows someone
Hmm.
that's actually going to help you do business or help you grow your business or whatever it is you're trying to do these days.
So what advice would you give to somebody if they are sitting doing something and they think, you know what, I really don't want to be known for this. I want to do something different or better or bigger. What
Yeah.
advice would you give?
First of all, determine what that is. That's the first thing. Determine what it is that you want to do. And then once you determine what it is, figure out how to do it. Maybe you're doing it part-time, and maybe that part-time leads to full-time, but start it. I was reading a quote from Michael Jordan. It says, some people dream about it, some people think about it, but some people just do it. So sometimes you just got to do it.
Mm.
And I literally, when I thought about Connect Ed, I dreamt about it a couple of times. It was actually my wife's idea with the name, and we just did it. Had no idea who would show up. And thankfully, we are not the biggest group, and I don't want to be the biggest group. I want to be the most impactful group.
Mm. So much to be said for all of that, Ed. And
Yeah.
you have done such an amazing job. And I know that the things that you will be known for are all of the things that you had said about being a servant leader and being a connector.
Thank you.
So with that, let's just wrap into the 4 final questions. What was the best piece of advice you were ever given?
Stay true to yourself.
Mm.
That was given to me when I was much younger. And I can say that I veered off that course. In corporate America, like I said, I was just chasing the dollar. I was chasing the titles and all that stuff. But I wasn't being true to myself. And once I've found my compass back to being true to myself, that's when true fulfillment kicked in. Like, I don't go to bed sad. I don't go to bed dreading the next day because I'm staying true to myself.
Love that. So what's one thing on your bucket list?
Oh, wow. So there was a couple things on my bucket list. Well, one of them was doing a safari in Africa. But after meeting and connecting with a few people in Africa, in several countries, um, my wife and I, we actually want to build a house in Africa.
Oh, nice.
Spend half our time over there.
Very nice. So when the toy companies finally get around to making an action figure of you, what 2 accessories will it come with?
Oh, wow. This is probably one of the more fun questions I've had. So as a child, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't a musketeer or a knight of the round table. So if I had two accessories, one would be a shield and the other one would be a sword. And the funny thing is I keep this on my desk that was given to me by my wife. So there you see the shield and there you see the sword. So you can call me Centurion Ed if you like.
Love it. And last one, Ed, how do people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me at Edward Dudley on LinkedIn, or you can go to our business page, which is We Are Connected. Or you can go to Instagram, Facebook, We Are Connected. And the website is www.weareconnect-ed.
Love it. Thank you so much, Ed, and thanks for being here.
Elena, I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm Marlana Semenza, photographer and visual strategist. Please comment, like, or share this episode, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more information on how I can help you create your iconic image, visit marlanasemenza.com.